thank you for sticking around for the second part. We're going to talk a little bit about coaching development for the second part of the presentation. So, here's my agenda for this evening. We're going to talk about some new names and new words we're using now. I'm going to bring it up to scratch with that. Master learning facilitators. We're going to talk about a little bit about that LF workshop that we conducted at the beginning of the month. We're going to get into the LF evaluation and support program that we're putting together for our learning facilitators. The new courses for 2012, and we're going to touch briefly on some of the coaching course administration you need to be aware of to be able to book and conduct courses for the 2012 season. So, we're going to take a quick look at I want to make sure that everybody's comfortable with this to start off with. In the past, we've had course conductors, and I think there's quite a few people in the room who've conducted courses over the years, and the titles were instructors or course conductors. That's changed with new methodology. So we've got two designations now. We've got an MLF, which is a Master Learning Facilitator, and we've got an LF. The Master Learning Facilitators were 6 people that were selected in January, and they went away for a week-long course, probably a complete week, in Montreal, and they were trained from NCCP and CSA on the new program that we're going to show you tonight. So they're our Master Learning Facilitators, and their roles and responsibilities are going to become a little bit more clearer as we go through the presentation. The second one's an LF. So the LF, or Learning Facilitator, are what we used to call instructors or course conductors. Can you put your hand up right now if you were part of our Learning Facilitators workshop a couple of weeks ago? So these guys and girls were all part of the workshop a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, so we've got quite a few in the room. So as we move through the presentation, we should make sure that it was clear on what an MLF is and an LF is. How do we get to that point? For our LFs, we've got 72 LFs right now that complete the training to the end of it. And we go back over the process. We want to make sure that everybody was aware of what the process was and what the process will be moving forward. So if you are interested in becoming an LF, you want to be part of the program, this will be the same process for 2013 as it was for 2012. So there was an online application process that was sent out to all the districts and clubs back in July. Do you guys remember that? Did you see that? Did your club get that? Did your district get that? You put your hand up if you saw it, just so we know that the message was getting out. Obviously, the people who are LFs, you must have got it because you're LFs. But anybody else that's not an LF, did your club get it? No? Yes? Yep. We sent out to all the districts and to as many clubs as we possibly could. So we'll make sure that you're aware of that process moving forward. Out of that application process, we had 107 people that applied. There was a committee formed on the selection process, and we look for people that have got the following skills. Number one, have got some soccer education and background. Number two, that they possibly been a course conductor or a learning facilitator for another sport, or for soccer. And number three, people who have got experience teaching not only children but also adults. This whole process is now getting into educating adults, some of the principles behind it. So they were the 3 major criteria that we looked at. Everybody that was successful, everybody that was selected, was contacted, was invited into a workshop and was given a contract to sign and send in before they actually came to the workshop. Everybody that wasn't successful, we contacted them and said, not this time, we'd like you to reapply. Our application process will be up again next year. So everybody was contacted successfully or unsuccessfully. The contract was created, and this is something that we've never had before. And I've been part of the organisation as an instructor for going on 15 years. It's something I'd never done before, and I think most of the people in the room haven't done it. They've been part of it before. It was a contract that really outlined what we were expecting from you as a learning facilitator. So it outlined the code of conduct we wanted to follow and make sure you maintain. Little things like your appearance, the way, the methodology and the philosophy behind the new coaching courses. And it went on in that, into real fine details. We want to make sure that everybody was aware of what was expected of them before they came in for any training at all. So if they had any issues, that was the time to bring it up. So that was sent out. And it was signed, and that was part of their acceptance before they did any training. Out of the 72 people that came in, 50% were new 50% were new LFs. So we had a nice little turnover in that. We want to start to bring new people into the program. We didn't have 1 or 2 people back. We felt that there was time they should do something else or take some time away and then come back into the program. So we've got a nice group of 72 LFs. Some are new, some are returning, and we've got hopefully with the new courses being rolled out, there'll be lots of work for all of them moving forward in 2012. The whole point of why I'm telling you this is we want to make sure that you understand this is transparent. We want to make sure that you understand it's fair, and if you're interested in coming into the LF program, that's open every single year. It's not a, you're in, you support West Vaughan, you're in for the rest of your coaching career, that's a way of support. Or you're in because you like the shirt, you don't like the shirt, or you're in because you drink with me, or you're a friend of Bobby's, or whatever. None of that.
I don't have any friends, Mark.
The team you support.
Exactly. So, if you're not part of it, it's a transparent process, and we're encouraging you to put your name in the hat next year moving forward. The same, exactly the same process as what we did. Any questions on that so far? Good. Excellent. Okay, so our first part of the training was November 5th and 6th, and it was hosted here in the centre. And what we did was, on the Friday evening, we brought in all the MLFs. So we had 6 of the MLFs that came in for a rehearsal to go over their sessions, or on-field sessions, and to go through the programming for the weekend, so they were fully conversant on what was expected of them, so we had no hiccups. We also brought in a master course conductor from the National Coaching Certificate Program who conducts the new courses that we're rolling out worldwide. And he was the individual that led the weekend and pointed us in the right directions with the support of our MLFs. So it was a multi-sport person training soccer people with our MLFs supporting. We had 76 that were invited. We had unfortunately 1 or 2 on the day couldn't attend due to illness, so we went down to 72. And our main focus on the whole weekend was the new delivery of the course. So it's not like you get from me now. It's not me standing here lecturing like we used to do. It's now a totally different process, methodology. It's all based on adult learning. How do adults learn the best? How do they retain the information? How do they learn? So all those principles have been applied in the way we facilitate courses moving forward. The new courses, we're going to get into what more information on the courses, but for 2012 we got 4 courses that have been rolled out. Active Start, Fundamentals, Learn to Train, and Soccer for Life. Now, I want you to remember this because this is the important thing for us moving forward. LFs touch the majority of our clubs and coaches, and we want to make sure that the message and the information that we're delivering is consistent right across the province and right across the country. So every province is following this. We'd like to invite as many club head coaches who are not part of the process right now to put their applications in, get trained, and be part of our LF staff. As I get into the courses, you'll see that we've now changed the way we deliver stuff. Some of the courses can be delivered by trained, I always say trained LF club head coaches. When it comes to that knowledge. Any questions on that? Okay, fantastic. So this is just an overview of where we are right now with our learning facilitators. Just give you a bit of a recap and give you some other thoughts on where we're moving forward. So we started off here with the application process, which we talked about. The identification and selection process, our November training workshop. Now in between here now, we've just set dates this week where we're doing pilot courses. And we're going to hold some pilot courses in Ottawa in January. We've got pilot courses we're going to hold in this area, and we're looking to hold some in the London, Windsor area in January as well. So we've got 3 areas where we're going to hold pilot courses all on the same weekend. And we're going to be inviting our brand new LFs to observe the courses. So the first thing they're going to do in their training, after we train them obviously, is sit and watch the LF conduct the course. So they get an idea of what is expected, how to run the course, any questions they can ask throughout the during or afterwards. So that's their first part of the training. The second part of their training is they're going to co-facilitate. So they'll be assigned to a returning LF. So if Ray's new this year and Bobby's returning, Ray will be assigned to work with Bobby, and they'll co-facilitate on the course. courses. So Bobby will do the opening bit, Ray will do a little bit more, and they work together throughout the weekend, so they're working and co-facilitating the coach. Second part then is then we allow them to go out and they'll start to deliver courses on their own. So we feel that we put a lot of training, enough training to be able to here and here to be able to deliver a good course at this point. Now, this is something new as well we've never done before, supported developments. So rather than just saying, hey guys, you've done your workshop, you've done your co-facilitation, send us your expense forms and we'll see you next November. No more. Now we're offering support and development for all of our LFs throughout the year. So this is the role now of the MLF that I spoke to you about in the first slide. So now the MLFs will now be assigned a group of LFs, and their jobs will be to support the LFs. Any of the LFs have got any concerns going into a course from an administration standpoint, not being able to converse with the course material, one or two questions, they can go directly to the MLF and get the information and the help and support from them. Whereas in the past, due to resources and other things, we had to call here, and poor Estelle was running around trying to get phone calls and messages back to any course conductor that had issues, and sometimes she wasn't able to do that. So now we've got a stronger, more efficient, to the point support system. The other segment of that is that we're going in and evaluating and giving feedback. So we feel we've got a nice, strong support and development process right underway from day one to be able to deliver consistent, good standard courses right across the board. Part of the support now will be formalised support. So there'll be documented reviews of performance. So an MLF will go in, will sit, will observe, will take down notes on not only the things that we feel that need to improve on, but also the good stuff they're working on. Give them positive and constructive feedback throughout the courses. We'll give them action plans for areas to work on. I really think you need to work on this segment a little bit more. You probably didn't spend enough time on it when you were delivering it. You need to go back and revisit it and extend the amount of time and allow more group discussion, feedback like that, so they can get better. There'll be ongoing formal training. So as we move forward, we're going to be offering different types of training, so personal development for our own facilitators, with the material and the ongoing material. Communicating with them a lot more, getting more pre-reading and reading that support their performances. And then geographical responsibility. So I touched on that a little bit earlier on. So depending on where the MLFs live, they'll be assigned people from within their regions. From a development standpoint, and this is a key one for us, it really is. I think it's a key one for you guys as well in close. We want to increase our LF base, which I've already mentioned to you. So ideally, we would like to have an LF in all the big clubs, or the majority of the clubs across the province. A person that's in there conducting and delivering a constant message, consistent message, and the information across all the age groups. If you think about that, if we can get that across our province, the amount of quality information, consistent information, and the level of, number one, coaches that we start developing collectively, and also once we get the better coaches developed, quality of players. We want to increase our MLF base. So if we've got a larger LF base, then we need a larger support system. So we want to bring more MLFs in. So this is part of our internal development and education as well. So our MLFs will come from our LFs. So right now we've got some quality LFs who are really delivering good courses, and we feel they've got the strengths and the skills and the capabilities to step up. Then we'll give them the training to bring them into the MLF. So we're growing our support now, internal education, as well as education for training coaches as well. It's all part of the courses. A couple of little things that we've put in there just to maintain standards. Everybody that's an LF must attend a full training workshop to conduct courses. So unfortunately we had one or two people that couldn't make it through illness or through work commitments or wherever. We have people that left halfway through because they weren't feeling well. Sorry, but you need to attend the full weekend to be able to deliver these courses. It's got to be consistent. You've got to be here. You've got to attend full training to be able to do it. There's no making it up. You can't just sit in a course and make it up. You need to be part of the training. We want to make sure that we are transparent, we're clear, we're fair to every single individual that's sat here for the weekend and taken the training. So that's one indicator that we're going to stick to, and we put forward this year. The second one here is status. In the past, I've felt people have put their applications in, come to the training, got the tracksuit, and not done anything. Nice little resume builder, we didn't really do anything. So now we're saying, hey, you must conduct a minimum of 3 workshops to remain as an LF. And the reason behind that, the biggest reason behind that is, you're only going to become a better LF the more courses you can do. It goes back to the 10,000 hours that Alex talked about. You can't run one and be a good LF. You need to be doing it consistently to become better at it, and that just keeps our standards up as an organisation. And then the LF contract that I spoke to you about, that's part of their agreement to be able to conduct the courses as well, which I really need to work on. Any questions on before we get to the start? Yes?
Is it 1 LF per workshop?
1 LF per workshop, yes. Unless we get into the excellence stream, which will be the freebies and things like that, then we'll go into others. Yeah. Any other questions on that before we move on to the courses?
How many previous course instructors do you have?
That's a good question, man. I don't know. Just start around. I don't know, man. I'll find out before the end of the night. 50 was it? Around 50. And it's important geographically, we're able to send people in rather than to drive 3 or 4 hours to deliver a course. We've got more people, local people in the
I think that was one thing that I noticed with the courses before, when our coaches wanted to take a level or get any kind of training, and you have that crunch before the season starts, and then there's absolutely nothing for the rest of the period, so either you get it done before April or...
Due to the lack of instructors being able to conduct courses, that what you...
Well, I'm not sure if that was a reason, but that is something I noticed. So this having these LFs now, and having the fact that they will have to conduct at least a minimum of 3 workshops, do you think this would increase the amount of workshops that would be available throughout the season?
It's part of that. It's also part of districts and clubs hosting the courses. So if the demand goes up and we don't have enough LFs and it's going to train more, it'll come down to the amount of clubs and districts that want to host the courses. Demand for that. I think it's a little bit above. But we certainly feel we've got enough staff on board this year to be able to do a great demand. Okay, so here's the 4 courses that we're rolling out for 2012. Number 1, Active Start, which is a very, very basic 4 to 6 year olds, 3.5 hour course. We've got 2 options, which we're going to talk about in a little while. The key thing here is 3.5 hours. We've never been able to host courses before that have been on for 7 hours. So this really is an ideal opportunity to get those brand new coaches, mums and dads, 4 to 6 year olds, bring them in, educate them, give them some quality information, some material that will be shown in a little while. And also, this can be run during the week, it's not again the weekends. Now we've got the option to be able to host courses during the week. Second one, fundamentals. U6 to U8 females, U6 to U9 males. It's a 7-hour course. Again, just to throw a little footnote in there, you may see these advertised as 8 hours. If it's an 8-hour course, it means you've got a lunch break. It's a 7-hour, it's a working lunch. And we've got 2 final courses, U8 to U11 female, U9 to U12 male, 14 hours. And Soccer for Life, 12 and older, 11 and older, 14 hours. Again, it's gone back to the way the courses used to be. When I first started instructing, the majority of the courses were over 2 days. So it's 7 hours, both days. You got time to go home, reflect on it, come back the next day with some questions. It wasn't all being crammed into a 9 or 10 hour day like the previous courses. Remember those? And that was, I tell you, from an instructor standpoint, it was hard work to get there and work for 9 hours and keep everybody interested. I can't imagine what it would be like to be a brand new coach coming in and running around the gym for 3 or 4 hours and then doing classroom work for 2 hours. It was tough, wasn't it? Would you agree with that? Yeah. So ideally here, we think we've got a better learning environment. We're able to spread the information over the 2 days, able to give more time to digest and retain the information. Here's our 4 courses.
Mark,
yes.
can I ask you a question?
Sure you can.
So if I take the fundamental course or the learning to train course, do I need to write a test at the end? Or
No test.
so I just have to be.
It's a community-based course, yeah.
I could be sleeping, I could be not paying attention, but I will still get my certificate.
That's right.
I'm going to do the job.
Yeah. Now, in the new format of the courses, you won't be able to sleep time. We're doing totally different approach to it. There's no more standing here and me talking to you. You're going to be interacting with people in your group throughout the whole day. So for you to fall asleep can be very difficult. Very.
But you know that.
Yeah. No,
I
I
actually
saw
falling
it.
asleep, you know
Yeah.
that.
Believe me, I've seen people fall asleep.
Right.
So, yeah.
So then all the work according to training the labs and the other labs really. If the participant is not willing, it's all.
Well, you're always going to get one or two that are not winning, but I think the format that we're going in now, it's really going to force them to be willing. Otherwise, they're going to stand out like a sore thumb.
Again,
They're going to be people that are
have
interacting.
the certificate again.
They will, and that's something with a community course, unfortunately, will have to change. But I think you'll see a big change in the interaction in the group and the information coming back and forth. And I got to tell you, it's something you may not want to do, but you get into it. You get caught up in this conversation. You're going to add your little points. But we'll always do the one or two. You're right. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
Sure.
If I have coaches in between levels, right?
Yep.
So how do we just grandfather them into the system?
I'm going to come back to that, mate. I promise I'll answer that question in about 2 slides. Okay, so before I answer those 2 questions, let's get into this section here so we understand this. This is part of the communication that Alex sent out in a letter format to districts and clubs in January. And this was important information. I want to go over it again to make sure we're all clear on it. So this is requirements to coach a competitive team in 2012. A competitive team. So completion of the senior diploma or completion of learning to train an MED for U9 to U12 males, U8 to U11 females. So if you've got that senior diploma from last year or the year before, you're good. You're okay, you can coach competitive. If you don't, then you need to take the learning to train and the MED. The MED is making ethical decisions, which is run by the NCCP. We gave you handouts on that information tonight. Yeah. Second part here. Now, if you're coaching U12 males or U11 females or older and older, can we see that? You need to add the senior diploma again or soccer for life with the MED. Is everything good with that? So that's one course now. So Billy, gets back to your question. One course. If I'm coming in to coach U12 males and I've never coached before, then I take the Soccer for Life, which is age specific for U12s. I take the MED course and now I'm qualified. Okay, so we haven't got to take the other ones to get that. It's just one course with the MED. Yes, ma'am.
You always say you have to respect and soccer.
Yes.
How come I don't see that as a requirement?
Right now, we're not too sure if it's going to be requirements or not. And the next board meeting, which is next month, we'll have the answer for you on that. So if that is a requirement, then we'll get the information out to you. If it's not, then you won't hear anything. So we'll have that by the end. Yes, yes, ma'am.
See, well, sometimes like you move the older coaches back down, right? When let's say the age, so what happens there?
So if they move back down to the, so if you've got a coach that was coaching U15 males and goes to coaches U12 males, then he's going to go back and they'll take the learn to train course. That's age specific. Right now it's age specific. So the information on that course there is just for those age groups. Gets into all the stuff that Alex has talked about today. It's a 2-day course. Whereas before, if you were coaching the U15 males, you had to go through the child, the youth, and the senior to get the information. Okay, so it's a lot.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, we don't understand. So if I have a coach that's been coaching U18s, just finished.
Yes.
Now he's going, we want to recycle him and put him back to U11.
Yep.
He has to take...
No, if right now, sorry, let me show you that. If right now he has a senior diploma,
Right.
he's okay.
Oh, he's okay.
He's
so
okay.
that's-
But if he comes through the new stream,
Right.
where he's only taken the Soccer for Life,
Okay, I understand.
then he's going to flip back and take the course.
Is there any chance now, like club head coaches, technical stuff, that we can see what the new training is about?
We're going to give you some information on it. We're going to give you a couple of clips on the videos. Okay. So I can give you a rough idea what to expect.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Just for clarity, for U11 females and U12 males, which one of those would you be?
U11 females learn to train and MED.
Right.
Did you say U12 females?
Well, no, it also says soccer for like U11 plus female.
So 12 and above, soccer for
Those
us.
are the 12.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
On these new courses, are you putting theory in it?
Yeah, it's built into it.
So in other words, now our coaches are trained how to do a seasonal plan, how to run it? Okay, great, perfect,
Going back to the way it used to be.
perfect.
Yeah. That's why you got 14 hours, you can spend more time on
Beautiful.
Yeah. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
Mark, I'm sorry.
I don't worry about it.
So if I have a senior diploma,
Yes.
I don't need to get any of those courses before U12 now.
You got it.
But, I mean, if the methodology has changed,
Yes.
the content has changed, the approach has changed, I will be using the old approach as well. So with so many senior coaches around, I would say 50% of them will be using the old,
Yeah.
right? So how do we?
You got a great point. And this is something that's come to Alex now in the last 2 weeks. We're the only, as far as I'm aware, we're the only association, and that's the CSA anyway, where there's no longevity on your qualifications. You go anywhere else in the world, they'll say after 5 years, your qualifications have expired, you've got to come back, take a refresher course. And that's what's been brought into this system. It won't be right away. We're still working with CSA on that. We're hoping in the next 12 months to have information on that. So your senior course will expire at this date. You got to come back and take it.
Rob's there, completely Mark's bang on there with that comment. So the CSA haven't put that stamp on it yet, but it's coming. So it may be 3 years, it may be 5. But in lieu of that coming, Tony, I would be saying to all of you, if you do have the old senior diploma, go and take some of these courses, don't wait. Like go and get the new philosophy and methodology, even though it's not mandatory required. Go and see what's going on. Like invest some of your time in this
But
process.
the other thing is, what if clubs like clubs will want to run a weekend workshop for coaches, for all their coaches, on the say level 2 to level 3, one of those levels, the fundamentals.
Yes.
They want to run a course like that for all the coaches. Would the OSA be able to provide a reasonable fee for it? You know,
We're going to get to the fees in a little while. I think you'll think they're reasonable. May I answer your question before you throw something at me? Because I told you you could. That it? Good. I just want to get that stress off my line. Okay. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to get into what you just asked me. We can't give you a whole whack of information. We're just going to give you a little bit of a tidbit on what we've got coming down the pipeline for the courses. Now, we're working on this, today I was with the CSA for 4 hours, just trying to get the final information on the courses. So right now we're working with drafts, but we'll have all the final stuff ready to go the first week of January. But in here now we've got workbooks for each of the courses. Supporting the workbooks, we've got DVDs. And the DVDs, they've got clips of drills, fun games. We've got PowerPoint presentations, everything that we're going to cover off in the course. The coach now just takes the DVD away with him and it's got it as a resource or a reminder of what went on in the course. Okay? So we're going to show you a couple of little clips right now. So you just grab Billy, can you grab the lights at the back there, mate, please? Thanks, mate. So we're starting off with the very, very basic stuff with the acting stuff.
I want to hear the loudest one. The loudest one. Let's go, 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 go. Oh, well done, but you got to put in front of the ball. Good, good. Olé. Okay, ready? Olé. Well done, you. Well done. Good, well done. Excellent stuff, excellent stuff. Good, well done. Good, well done. Olé. Good, good, good. Good, well done. Oh, well done. Good stuff.
So we've got the coach facilitating, we've got parents involved, we've got the little 4 and 5 year olds all working with the ball, he's just moving around. So that's the kind of stuff we're going to get into with active stuff. Another little sample.
Nowadays, more and more community soccer organisations and parks and rec programmes are putting on soccer sessions for 3, 4 and 5-year-olds. Of course, these young soccer stars don't need to be competing against one another. They need plenty of fun soccer adventures with mum and or dad as their first teammate as they explore the wonderland of soccer. We need to fire their imaginations, so elephants and tigers and ball-eating crocodiles all add to the excitement.
Crocs and Swamps.
Crocs and Swamps is a great game for kids ages 3 to 5 and their parents. All you need is some cones and some balls and a goalie with slippery fingers.
Everyone come in behind the line here and I'll show you what Alex and I are going to show you what you're going to do. We have to pass our way through the crocs and the swamps here until we get to the other end. There's a big cave, not a cave, it's a goal, isn't it? Where Kristen is, and you're going to score on Kristen. So Alex, come over here, right, come over that side, because I think you'd rather use your right foot, wouldn't you? And pass it to me. Pass it. Oh, that's with your left foot. Good. We'll go up here. Keep coming. Keep coming. There we are. There we are. Don't hit any of these. Don't hit any of these. Go on. Pass. Well done. Good one. Pass again.
Uh-oh.
Right. And go and shoot. What should we do? Shoot. Oh, go and score.
Oh,
wow.
Nice
Hey.
shot, buddy.
Maybe I just don't get that enough, but I think that's quite exciting. What do you think? Yeah.
So what happens at the end?
Scored a goal. Scored it all, mate. Now, I'll tell you, and I've been at TD for 2 clubs. I've got around 4,000, both clubs around 4,000 players. And a big portion of those players were in the 4, 5 and 6s. So we had, in Newmarket, we had around 1,000 kids operating there. And what we tried to do was, and that's what we camera, so what we tried to do was we would bring in the brand new coaches for an hour and a half, 2 hours into a classroom setting.
Nuts and squirrels.
And then we'd take them outside another night and do an hour and a half on the fields. And the problem was, we had the weather to compete with. We wasn't too sure who was showing up. We weren't too sure the level of experience, if any, at all. So we were always putting stuff on, but we weren't too sure what we were dealing with. And also, if it rained, it was hard for people after the first session. So with something like this now, being able to offer a 3.5-hour course, it's a far easier sell in that you've got 3.5 hours, you're coming in, we're giving you some practical information, we're giving you some coaching theory information, we're giving you information how to organise parents, I'm going to give you a DVD to go away with us. And when you look at the price, if you're into the prices in a little while, if you're a trained LF, it's around $300 for 15 coaches. The amount of time that we spent organising doing all that was more than $300 worth of our time. So this is ideal in that it's a great sell. We can get people in, they get a trained LF, so they get some certification out of it, they get a workbook, they get a DVD. I think that type of thing will really raise the standards of our coaches at the younger levels and get people excited because now they come in, they get certified. 3.5 hours is not a long time. A Tuesday night or Wednesday night, maybe you want to run it, or you can run the weekend. You can even wait till your season starts and do a couple the first week of the season. So I think it's, I got to say, I don't wish I was back in the club. I'd rather go back to a club with something that I'll push big time. Any thoughts on that? Agree, disagree? Yes, no? Okay. Right, another little clip of it.
In this game, the balls act as nuts and the players act as squirrels. Players are divided into 4 teams as shown, with all the nuts in the middle in a little square. Upon coach's command, players go and retrieve the balls with their feet to bring back to their grid. When they stop the ball in their grid, then the next player can go. The team with the most nuts at the end of the game is the winner. Variations. For younger players, they can use their hands instead of their feet. For older players, 1 player from each team is allowed to go and steal other teams' nuts from their grid. Emphasis: running, turning, lots of touches on the ball, stopping the ball, teamwork, having fun. Indy 500, played in a 20 by 20 meter grid with the track set up as shown. Players are divided into 2 teams, one team wearing pinnies. Upon the coach's command, one team races around the track with the balls at their feet. On a second command, the second team races around the track with the balls at their feet. Players can go around the track clockwise or anti-clockwise and are encouraged to make noises like a racing car. Variations. For younger players, the players can run around the track with no ball, or they can run around the track with their parents. For older players, the players can switch directions as they're going around the track upon the coach's command. Emphasis. Introduction to dribbling. Players take lots of small touches and move the ball forward, turning in different directions and having fun.
Sure, thanks. Okay, so we've got that for all 4 courses. So you've got DVDs with clips and information on the 4 courses. And you've not had time to go through all tonight, but I wanted to give you a real, just a little bit of insight to it, and how basic it is, how much fun it is, how you get people involved, and they've got that as a resource. Yeah, so that's part of our course material, and on that DVD you've got the PowerPoints and other reference material that they can use as well. So here's the costs. Now, these costs have not been board approved, so we're waiting for board approval on them. Active start number 1, and there's option 1, there's option 2. So I just want to go over the 2 options with you right now so you understand what it is. So active start option 1, $20 per coach. That is if you have a trained LF in your club. So again, for instance, if Ray's from Barry and he's a trained LF, then he conducts the course. The club pays him, or the club says it's part of your contract rate to run this, or it's part of your hours that we're going to hire you for the next 2 years or whatever to run X amount of courses, or we're going to give you an extra 200, 300 bucks. That's something that the LF talks to the club about. If you don't have a trained LF, then we have to send one in. It's $50 per coach. Okay, now what we've done here is we've tried to make this as cheap as we possibly could to get as many coaches in as we could to be able to make it, take down those barriers and get as many people as we can get them educated. So I think it's a pretty fair cost. What do you guys think? Yes, ma'am.
Age.
Age?
You can have, for example, like a minimum age that you can have take that course.
Yeah, 16. You have to be 16 the day of the course to be able to take that course. You must have a minimum of 15 coaches, maximum of 30. Again, we don't want to get over that more than that. It just becomes too much to handle and manage, and just lowers the quality of our courses. But again, you got more than that. You can run 2 courses in one day. It's a 3.5-hour course, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, or 2 separate nights. Fundamentals, $75 per coach. That's that full 7-hour, 1-day course. Learn to train, so the weekend, the 2 days, and soccer for life, 2-day course. I think if you look at these prices, they're pretty much in line with where we've been in previous years. Except now we're getting better resources, we've got a new training, we've got new LFs that are coming in. It's totally different course. Okay. Again, we're waiting for board approval on this. Hoping there won't be too much change, if any change at all on it. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Why not offer the double option on all 4 levels of the coaching courses?
So we'll do as time moves on. Being the first year rolling that, we just want to start off and make sure we get everything right rather than running before we can walk. But something down the road, mate, that's what we're looking to do. Yes, ma'am.
Are these costs going to be mandated for all posts, or are they still allowed to charge?
No. Now, that's a good point. Now, on top of these costs, obviously, you've got your facility costs. So if you have facility costs, so you've got to put whatever if you're renting a school gym or you're renting an indoor facility, your costs will go on top of that. But again, we want to make this as affordable as we possibly can. So we'd like to think that no one's going out there putting a whole whack of money on this and making money off of it. And that'll be part of our LFs and NLFs to keep an eye on that as well, just to make sure that people aren't getting gouged. Yeah. So this is our costs. So you as a host, you will put your costs on top of that to cover your costs. Good question. Thank you. Any other questions?
You said the minimum is 15
Minimum's 15, maximum's 30.
3?
Yeah. It's all part of your, at the front end when you came in, we give you a little package and there's information in there on application forms on how to apply. It's not again, it's on our website as well. Of course, for each course, the minimum and the maximums and the information on what you need to do, what the costs are, what the deposit is, and what. Julian, no questions for me, mate? Okay, so administration. Course costs, we talked about that. The application form, you didn't get one, you're online on our website. The host application process, we put together an operations manual for hosts. And we're going to file that out to all of our LFs or our MLFs, out to our districts, and to public coaches if you want a copy of that before it out to you electronically. And what it does, it gives you all the information that you need to host any one of the courses that we talked about. It gives you the standards, gives you a checklist, gives you all the dimensions that you need to have. So we're going to be running an active start. You need to have a classroom, you need to have a laptop, you need to have a projector, you need to have a screen. You don't have that, we can't move this. Because that's just as important as the balls are. You need to have a gym at a certain size, all in there, so we can make sure that the courses that we are conducting are consistent from club to club, district to district. All that is part of our operation plan. The transition from the other courses that the coaches may have. So give a coach right now that took last year's child course. How does that move over into the new streamline? We don't know yet. We're waiting for NCCP approval. And again, I was on that phone today with CSA. It's not a CSA thing, it's an NCCP thing. So they've got to decide where our previous courses fit into the new stream. And again, we're hoping to have that information by the early next year. So I'm sure you're going to get questions from your coaches. We'll have answers for you in the year. But the key thing for me is that you know what you need to have to coach competitively. Does that make sense?
I have a coach, I can't remember what he had, but it was from the US.
Yeah.
And we had sent it in quite a while ago to get equivalency and
Into us or CSA?
into OSA.
Yeah.
I think no for it.
CSA? Yeah. Again, there's no wage backlog and stuff like that, but maybe send an email off and just ask him if you get a chance to look at it yet. Anything from other countries goes to the CSA. Your phone, mate? Yeah. What's up? I like the ring, by the way. Okay. Any, does that make sense so far on the equivalencies, the certifications? Yeah? No? Yes? Yeah. Yes?
Then A and B licenses are national?
So again?
A and B licenses are
A and B license right now is nothing has changed there, but the CSA are developing a new excellent stream which will cover off the pre-B, the B license, the A license. It's going to introduce 2 new courses, a high performance license and also a pro license. And that's being developed. That's something that hopefully we'll have more information on when we in the spring. Last little point here. Not making excuses, but we want to be honest, we want to be upfront. It's not going to be perfect. This is our first year. We're still working with CSA, and CSA is still working with NCCP to get all this information out to us so we can roll it out. What will happen is after year 1, we review it again. We're going to go back to the CSA and review it, and the information we get back from our LFs and our MLFs, from our province and the other provinces, more changes we made to make it better for the following year. So it's not going to be perfect. And again, something's never happened in the past. In the past, we printed the manuals, boom, they were out there and they were out there for 10 years. So we're reviewing this after 12 months. So the first year won't be perfect. It's going to get better and better with the feedback that we get and the information we get passed on. Okay, last slide for me. A couple of the important things that we wanted to bring you up to speed with. Our coaching conference. As you're aware of, we normally run a November conference. This year we didn't do it. And the reason being was we wanted to spending more time getting our LFs and MLFs trained ready for the rollout of the courses. So we moved our conference date back. We kind of flipped it around to make it even more confusing. Normally we held it on the Saturday. This year we're holding another club head coach workshop. And we really feel it's important that we meet with you people, get your feedback, get a chance to talk and deliver new information to you, and really build up some strong ties. So we're doing an invitation club head coach workshop on the Saturday. It'll be for technical directors and club head coaches only. Because right now we've been on the road for 2 weeks and I think we've seen over 200 people. So not everybody was club head coaches or technical directors. So it'll be an invitation only for club head coaches and technical directors. And we'll have more information for you, like we've done tonight, more updates. We'll also have our guest coaches who are going to be working on the conference on the Sunday coming in and having a panel, question and answers, doing some presentations on the long-term player development work that they've done within their systems. So it'll be an information/educational afternoon. And then on the Sunday, we'll go back to our regular on-field conference. It'll be an all-day event. And right now we've got 3 guest coaches. We've got Richie Wilson, who's a youth development coach from the Scottish FA, and Richie was over last year doing some work in the North region. Richie's got lots of experience on long-term play development. He works for the Scottish FA. He helped them roll the program out. But one of his roles now is he goes around and he checks to make sure the clubs are following the information and the programming that was rolled out. So he kind of polices it, gets in there, and does a lot of auditing and checking on them. So that's something we're going to be moving towards as well. So Richie will be doing a classroom session, an on-field session for us on Sunday. We've got Ray Clark. And if you've never taken a national free license for a national license, you've probably seen Ray coach. Ray's director of coaching for the CSA. He's also director of player development. He's a very, very good clinician, very, very good educator. He'll be putting a session on for us as well. We've got another gentleman coming in from the US, Dr. David Carr, who's Bobby's been working with us on to secure his services for the weekend. He's a professor at the University of Idaho, is it? Ohio University. He runs their master's program in coaching. He's also an instructor and has worked with US soccer. He's also done a lot of work in Africa, some of the third world countries on developing coaching programs. So again, long-term player expert. He'll be doing an on-field session and having a chance to present some classroom and be there for question and answers. Every one of these sessions, every one of these individuals are going to be tying in with what we're doing. So it's going to be long-term player development, age-related sessions. So you're going to see some stuff on fundamentals, you can see some stuff on learn to train, you're going to see some stuff for soccer for life. It all ties in with what we're delivering at conferences when time it out here. And there's no cost to that. Don't be often hear that, do you? No cost to that. Okay? So 2 important times. So again, the club head coach will file you an invitation out. The conference is open to anybody. So you can bring your club coaches in, you can bring your wives, your girlfriends, your boyfriends, whoever you want to bring with you. So maybe you'll put them on the side as well. And that's on the Sunday, which we start at 9 o'clock and we go to 4. Any questions? Wow, brilliant. Thank you.
That's it.
Okay.
I have one more question.
I'm really conscious that we've ran over time, but I need you to work with me because I'm going to ask for a little bit more of your time, 15 minutes, because one of the key areas identified at the start is your input into what you've heard, and you've heard from Mark and I, and now we need to get your thoughts. So we're going to try and do this as quickly and as organised as we can. Mark's going to bring a piece of paper around to each table, and maybe one for the group on the side, so that'll give us 10 groups. I'm going to allocate a question per group, so we'll have 2 groups working on the same question. Then we're going to have a feedback session just where we'll choose one of the groups to feedback. Other people can add to that question, but I can't reinforce how important this is for us. This is your chance to give us some feedback. This has been very valuable as we've worked through the other presentations. Remember, this is about everything you've heard tonight. So talked about LTPD, we've talked about Ontario, we've talked about the vision, we've gone into detail and coach development, so it's your feedback on everything that you've heard. So, could I'll allocate questions, so 1 to this group, what excites you about what you've heard? 2 here, what's going to give us, what's the biggest challenges in implementation, but what I'm really focusing on is your solutions, our solutions to those challenges. 3 here, talk about resources. Everything you've heard so far is about what you get on the coaching courses. Would it be of value to get a development stage specific resource into the hands of every coach for next year? Is it a good idea? Yes, no, and if yes, what information would be of most benefit? So that's 3. 4, what's the preferred communication channel? How can we ensure our messages get to people? What forms of communication and how can we ensure it gets to the audiences we're trying to communicate with? 5, another really important topic, as a club head coach, what can you do to help what you've heard tonight? 1, you want question 1, 2, 3, 4, and the group on the side 5. So we're going to give you, everyone clear? Yes? No? Have you got pens? Yes? 10 minutes. Off we go. 10 minutes.
We got 5. We got 5. No, just 5. Number 4. 4. Yeah, no. We got to answer number 4.
Effective communication. Guaranteed reach.
You can write the youngest.
Looks like everyone more than you. I guess we've done this before.
Oh, you guys are past service. You got this year during the day.
It's going to be a guaranteed reach. Yeah.
Depends who you're trying to reach. If you're trying to reach a resource.
So people that don't go to use this bar is that
So we're going to choose one group, they're then going to feedback. The other group that had the same topic can add to the list if there's anything else that hasn't been covered, and we'll also open it up if there's any other questions from other people in the room. So we'll start with the first question. What excites you the most from what you've heard this evening? So which group said question 1? Okay. And this group. So we'll start with this group and then you can add. Spokesperson. However you'll Okay guys, can we all just appreciate other people speaking at the moment? That'd be great.
Vanna White. We said that finally there's consistent messages for the entire province. There's now going to be ongoing support and development for LX. So that's a really good thing. Stop them. Just the positivity surrounding it. I know from other groups there hasn't been a lot of positive feedback with LTPD, but it seems like it's getting better. The simplicity of the message, the cost for the programs obviously is something to be excited about. The concept and principles of LTPD, just having everybody getting on the same board and taking messages from other countries. Providing clear pathway for player development, because it has been quite staggered and different in every province and every club. Programs are more accessible and age appropriate. Clubs can now do some of the delivery of the content, so it seems to be strengthening the relationship between clubs and the OSA. And LTPD is finally being implemented, because we've heard about it for so many years, and the most exciting thing is it seems like there's actually going to be action and not just words.
That's great. Thanks a lot. And just so better looking assistant. Yeah, I gotta get better. Don't have a red card here. We're going to be taking these this away and processing them, so that's great. Anything to add that wasn't captured from this group, that same topic?
Perfectly sounded good.
Brilliant. Okay. Thanks, Ronnie. That's great. Okay, question 2. What's going to be the greatest challenge? And it's easy to think of these, and these are the things that jump to mind straight away because there's plenty of them. So we do want to hear them if there's things that we haven't already covered. But what I'm really interested in is the solutions and how we get there together. So which groups had this?
Hello.
Someone jumping to get up, so go for it.
Yep. Kind of eclectic discussion. So, and we're not sure if it was one question or more than one challenge. But several ideas that came out was, Sandra said, we need kind of everybody on board. And by that, I guess we understand that structure from CSA, OSA, region, club. Within club, because sometimes within the club, we have issues inside boards, for example. People that are volunteers that are not soccer people resisting players, playing, what do you mean 5v5? Because they don't have that understanding. Clarification on standard. So related to that, what can be done is communication, like clear communication, the definition of the standards that the clubs will require clearly and consistently, and education throughout and within the clubs. The other one that was probably the one that popped for some of us more strikingly was the pyramid for play that you highlighted there, that I think nobody in this room disagrees that it doesn't promote development. So the pyramid of play must change, but the ideas in the presentation were very accurate, very well put together. We felt, or some of us felt, that it can be done in less than 6 to 8 years. And so if there's anything, I guess, that within the clubs we can do, I think it'd be very valuable, hopefully. Because I think when that happens, when that comes into play, a lot of the other issues of development will begin to, the focus will be more on development as opposed to the way it is now on promotion.
That's some really good points, and I agree. I think when you talk about things you can do in your club, which is part of the fifth question, but there's a big role you all play here in education of people within your environment as we start to prepare to move towards things. We have put 6 to 8 year phased-in time frame on things because if things go well, that may be able to be sped up. But if things don't, we need to ensure that we are projecting time frames that are realistic. I think the concept itself we will get to, and that won't be too much of a challenge. We know we need to get to, it's just capturing it in the right way. But then how we change the landscape to ensure we deliver on it, to ensure the standards are maintained, that's the time-consuming area where there will be more challenges that we need to be really smart about how we address. There's some really good points. The other group that had the same question, anything to add?
Okay, really what we're looking for as clubs, number one is the district cooperation.
Yes.
Okay, with the LTPD. That's very important. What we're looking for is a structure set by the OSA, and now the clubs are going to follow it. This is what we're looking for, is the guidelines, proper guidelines, instead of us humming and doing this and doing this and doing that.
And you're starting to get a bit more information about that now through this process?
Yeah.
Good. Sorry.
That's the rest is all what all clubs, what we have to do, what's the resistance and so on. But the solution, that's really the solution that we can get.
And when you bring up the word resistance, we know there's going to be resistance. Like, it's obvious, we're all aware of it, we know where it's going to come from. So it's how we prepare for it, how well organised we are. So we know there's going to be a lot of pushback in places. It's not going to be a smooth process, and it puts more importance to unity and working together as we progress.
Like one of our concerns, how do you judge a club putting in the elite group?
Yeah.
So now if you don't choose a club, they become crazy about development, right? Well, we're not going to have a team there, so why should we develop? See? These are all things that we have to look for.
Good point you raise, and the process as we progress that will answer that. And in the Technical Advisory Council, we had a lot of discussions about that, because the worst thing we want is disenfranchising membership. So we're looking after the 15% up here, forgetting about the 85% down here, is the last thing we want. So how we ensure that clubs meet standards and work with them to meet standards, and if they don't, what else are we doing for them? And how do we support them, either reach those standards or improve what they're doing in an environment that they're comfortable to work within? Because the club may decide, we
And
just
who's
want to
going to
work
set these
here.
standards for the clubs?
We will be doing
Okay,
that.
so
That's
that's
part of the
what we need
competitive
to know.
structure. Yeah, but we're not there with coming to you about how, where, and what. That's what's going to be developed. Thank you.
Timing is going to be key because small organizations, you might want to start getting on that path. I mean, you can't leave us out to dry, right? You got to let us know so we can at least have a fighting chance.
And that's why we want to be realistic about what's going on. We're not going to tell you something's happening tomorrow, today. We need to project appropriate time frame. That's part of a planned, deliberate phase sort of approach to things. So we're very mindful of that as we progress. So some good input. Thank you. Yes.
Are we going to have an open discussion after this, or is this it?
This is it, yes. But there will be, if there are things that we don't get time to bring up, or there are things that are burning away that you do want to discuss based on time, you can contact Mark or myself. There'll still be avenues to pass on that feedback. Because we're scratching the surface to a point, but we're trying to get the appropriate things. One more question before we go to the next topic.
What about the clubs that don't want to abide by this LTPD, the ones that are fighting against it?
Clubs that are already within the system or that aren't members of OSA?
Clubs that are already within the system.
So this is why education is so important, and consultation, and bringing, because I think a lot of clubs will be against it because they're not understanding what it is yet, and they're not understanding what we're moving to. So we need to involve them in the planning process. As the competitive structure is developed, we need to talk to them about it. And we need to get their input into it and do everything we can to help educate them about the benefits of things. But this is where I say there is going to be resistance in places. It's natural. It's change management.
But will there be any sanctions in place? Like, would you, like, if no matter what, after all that education, they still...
Those are things we will be considering, but I can't give you answers in exactly that sort of at the moment. Okay, question 3. Would a development stage specific coaching resource be of benefit for next season, and ideas on content? So, was that groups that, hands up, which groups have that question? No hands? So, we start with this group, go for it. Thank you. No one's standing up.
Make letters on
Glad to see you got some work done.
Well, we believe it's essential to the delivery content, obviously.
That's right.
And the understanding of the physical development ages, expectations of the coaches. We need to have delivery content on DVD, classroom and field sessions. And we really think it has to be simple and easy content for everybody to understand it, to allow them to go.
And I think, yeah, good point, and I think that's what we're targeting when I think of what we're just trying to get something in the hands of people that aren't getting to these courses at the moment. Because at the moment, obviously, we're encouraging you all to work with us here and promote these coaching courses, so we're getting coaches here. But for those that aren't, there's something we can get to them in whatever form that's going to help with reinforcing a few key themes and getting some consistency. It's going to be of benefit. So, no, all really good points there. Which was the other group that had this question? Anything to add?
Well, we thought. You never gave us any answers about the Danish guy.
It's okay. It's okay.
Well, we thought we could utilize the club website to transfer information onto our membership. We can also use links from OSA and add that onto our website.
It's a really good point. I think that it's something we haven't probably proactively done. Is we should be talking to clubs and districts and saying, can you ensure there's links to our website, and this is the link to get to. We're working on reorganising the content on the current website, so LTPD is easier to follow and read and see. But we are working on moving forward a better platform for that information as well, because there are challenges with the current
Some of the information you've given, especially on the age group and how to get your new licensing.
Yes.
That in itself, if we can get that out to the website right away, and then we can, as as clubs put it there and say, look, on our club website, for parents to see, for everybody to see that, you know, even at the house league level, this is what we're planning to do.
Agreed, and it's on the website now, so it's there. So so go and have a look. And I've been through delivering these workshops. We've been into some clubs and seen the same messages photocopied and placed on information boards, and that's great to see. Okay, thanks guys. Question 4, preferred communication, guaranteed reach. So which groups? One at the back. Two at the back.
Okay. First and foremost is email. I think that's the easiest and that's the best way to reach a large population. Post on the OSA website is always a good one. Now some of our members aren't always on the OSA website, so another good way, proactive way would be an e-newsletter, maybe a monthly newsletter, because there is so much going on in such a short period of time. I feel that, you know, a monthly to start, and then as things progress, maybe a quarterly, Sam had mentioned. And this one is, I guess, important for people in this room anyways. A technical director / head coach, maybe a members only portal, something that can be logged in for any really current stuff that's in the process. And last one would be, we also threw around the idea of putting a banner ad on Sam's Twitter account, because he's hit 1 million members now, so this might be a good idea.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. There's some really good points, and I think the other thing is how we guarantee the reach, and we've got to look at push and pull strategies. So we're talking about pushing certain things out and trying to pull people to the right places that we're not reaching as well, because we're communicating in the right way. So some good points here.
What do you think of an app?
Application?
That you could put on a phone. I got a guy in my soccer from that's what he develops.
Yeah.
Put an app on your phone.
I know this.
Develop that for you right away.
Yeah, the CSA have got one, and that's a good suggestion as well. So it's something that, do you want to jot that down on your piece of paper as well, just so we can capture it? The other group that had that question, is there anything to add? Yeah, at the back.
One quick thing, I guess, it's more of the mentality of you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So as much as you put the information out there, you can't guarantee the reception of that message, whatever the message happens to be. So we really focus on our side here is a two-way communication. So not just the message being sent, but how do you track the fact that people are actually reading it or seeing it? And there's really, I mean, you can do all the electronic software stuff you want to, but that doesn't actually guarantee that people are getting the message.
Really good point. It's so follow up.
I mean, one of the things you do is that sort of that tree approach, where you go, you know, one person goes out to 10 people, those 10 people get it, and looking them in their faces tells you whether or not they're A, buying into the process, 2, actually receiving the message, stuff like that. So there's really not, I mean, we included a personal, you know, FaceTime approach as well, but you know, it's the reception of the message you really have to be able to track.
Yeah, it's great, and I like the tree approach in regard to following up on things. It's the coaches talking to the parents. Did you get this? What did it say? Oh, so you haven't read it, you haven't got it. You know, and following up, and definitely approaches there. So some really good points. Was there another hand? Yes.
You highlighted earlier that what the tennis association did. If the CSA did something like that, where on the sports show, whenever soccer is on, that everybody who's interested in soccer, they can actually see that this is where the CSA is going, this is where the OSA is going. I think that would reach almost everybody, because the biggest hiccup I had this year was trying to implement some of these changes for the 4, 5, and 6-year-old, and the parents were like, oh, next year I'm going to another club, this is what I'm doing.
Understand, yeah, and it's a good point you reinforce, because some clubs are and some aren't. So a promotional little video that captures people, it's a project we are looking at, and it's starting to make steps towards for the start of next season. So there's something there to help educate our parents and coaches about what LTPD means in a different medium. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up. All right, last question, and these are all important, but I think this is a really important one given our audience tonight and the role you play once you walk out of this door. So what can you do to help as a club head coach? So which groups had that question? Was the script coach?
We're
give out the information to all parties, i.e. parents, players, board of directors, coaches, a reculturing of attitudes and individual coaching philosophy within the club, such as stressing individual development over team accomplishments. Provide ample opportunity for all coaches at all levels to train via the LTPD coaching model. And lastly, the club head coach to be responsible for stewardship, monitoring, and mentorship of the implementation of the LTPD.
Some really good points there, and I can't reinforce enough. We can do what we can do here, and we're doing everything we can to help. But you all need to take some responsibility to help us here. And you are the people that are in touch with the coaches, all the coaches within your environments. We're all working together here. You can have some of those hard discussions and challenge people and educate them about why this is what is required and the benefits of a skill development and the challenges with winning and why it isn't the best way to develop players, talented and players to enjoy the game. You need to have these discussions, and when you do, you enlist people, you convert them. Really important, and because we can't get to some of those places, so we really need to work together on this. The other group that had the same question, yes. Thank you.
The main point that we got was that because there's so much misunderstanding out there with the membership, that it's not just a question of giving them the information. We've got to make sure that we're educated, we've got to be enthusiastic and positive. So we've got to show that we're fully on board and we're not doing it that way. They're not going to receive it that way.
Yes.
So that's our big thing. But one of the main things down here is sell it to the board. Yeah. And that really is investment and what have you. If we're going to do it right, we've got to make sure we've got the right investment going into it.
A really good point. Your role, as well as providing that right environment for your coaches and supporting them and promoting the coaching courses and other development around those things, it's coaching up as well. And coaching to boards and other people in the environment. It's really important. It's a good point. Thank you for raising that.
Okay, the last point really is providing feedback.
Yeah. Okay. To always say that's the thing. If there are challenges out there as well, if there are things that you feel we need to know because there's problems or challenges that are escalating, talk to us. Can we get in there and nip it in the bud and help, or is there something we can do to intervene? So that's another good point as well. All right. Mindful of time, and so just to finalise, we've got a couple of slides here. So to reinforce some of the points from earlier, timeline-wise, from now forward, information gathering, consultation, okay, and project delivery. Communication, consultation, gathering information. September, we're looking to bring all of that information together. We need to build the case, we need to understand things, okay? We haven't got the information at the moment to change the competitive structure. We need to have that because it needs to be sustainable. And then we will be going out in regard to a phased implementation plan over a 6 to 8 year period as we've discussed. I understand that this is too late, October, to be talking about changes for 2013. So as we're progressing in this process, we'll have to start to communicate about where we are and if there's going to be a transition, and we're mindful of that as well. But the worst thing we can do is hurry this process and make a hash of it. If we're lucky, there'll be one of those at the end and a leprechaun as well. So next steps, I'll reinforce the points I've made earlier. It's about the compass. It's where we're heading and why. The direction we're heading in at the moment is the most important point, and the reasons behind why we're heading there. That's what's critical. Okay? Unfortunately, this tends to drive things. The clock. We need to be there now. Urgency. Pressure. Okay? We're not going to put that first. We're going to put the direction we're heading in. That's what's critical. If in 2020 we look back and we say, wow, wonderful, we've achieved these goals, we got to this place, we've got credible, trusted leadership, we've raised the quality and quantity of coaches, referees and officials. If the competitive structure wasn't implemented in 2013, it was 2014, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's the fact that we're heading in the right direction and we've got there. Just wanted to reinforce that. So, December board meeting, we'll get certainty about the resources OSA has to invest in the future of the game. So, as I said, all of what we've talked about falls on people that already have full-time roles at the moment. So we need resources to help get this work done. So there's really positive direction that that's coming in regard to certainty around that. There's been RFDs submitted that will get approved at this next board meeting that will show real intent and movement towards LTPD. So from 2013, the Ontario Cup will not be happening for under 12s. The Ontario Cup structure will be reviewed to make sure it's compliant with LTPD festival tournament formats. The coaching transition will also be going to the board, so that's mandated. And there'll be also, they're looking at mandating district and provincial competition to ensure in 2013 that it fits the LTPD playing formats and field sizes and those sorts of things as well. So these are coming. It's giving people a year to prepare, but it's showing real intent. As we talked about, computer structure, there's a lot of work to be done here. So this is one of the big drivers, but this is going to be something that's happening behind the other messages that are going on. And when we're ready, we'll be coming out with more information to discuss and get feedback. So here, visible progress. We've talked about the LF workshop. We're here at a club head coach workshop. It's going to be more communication. There's going to be the new coaching content that you've seen, coaching material that you've really got to get out there and push within your environments and get coaches on board and get OSA and districts to hold courses. There's going to be a coaching conference in 2012 and further consultation. So that's it from us tonight. I'm sorry we've run over time, and we appreciate you all staying here, which is great. It's an exciting time at the moment. There's opportunities for all of us. There's opportunities for the game, and we've got to continue to put what's best for Canadian soccer, what's best for soccer in Ontario first. Okay, back to the first point at the start, there's only one decision on how we do this. We've got to do this, and we've got to do it together. It's critical. Just like in a game, okay, if our defence isn't working with our midfield, our striker's not much use to us. If the ball's not getting to the striker, or if he needs it on the ground, he or she's getting it in the air all the time, we're not going to get the result we need. So if, as a province, our districts and our clubs, if we're not working together, this isn't going to move forward at the rate it should. So we really all, I can't reinforce enough how much we need to move the game forward and how critical synergy and working together is. There's going to be all sorts of opportunities opening up in the future, as you can see, and that's an exciting time. It's looking at ensuring that people stay in the game for longer. We can keep the right heads in the game and show them a pathway. That's part of what we're doing as well. And the real test for all of us is as we walk out of this workshop tonight, what do you say to your friends and your club head coaches? Do we talk about good things in here and say something else outside of this room? I think it's really important that we do come on board and we're champions for this out in the field. We all have responsibility. We have responsibility how we react to things. Some things, there are going to be bumps along the way. We can either go, hey, we're heading in the right direction, look at all this new stuff that's happening, that's great, we're just going to box on. Or we can start to get on the wagon that we don't want to get on. That's a choice we all make. So my challenge to you is, let's make the right choice and let's drive this forward together. So we look forward to getting out and about more and discussing the exciting things that are happening. Thank you for your time and input tonight, and drive safely.
Good job. Your mother will be proud of you.